Hey guys, welcome to my channel. In this video, I am going to show the game between Indian Grandmaster Nihal Sarin and the Grandmaster from Switzerland, Bogner Sebastian. This game is from round 3 of Chess Olympiad. So let's start. White plays d4, black plays knight f6, c4, e6, knight f3, d5 and g3. So again this game is from my favorite opening, Catalan. Bishop e7, bishop g2, castle and queen d3. We also saw this idea in the previous game from Hari Krishna Pentala. Black played knight bd7 and white castles. Now black plays the move of b6. Here black has the option to choose the setup of c6, but it's fine to go with the move b6 also. Now whenever you see the structure like the pawn e6 and d5 and opponent plays the move b6, it is always a good idea to consider the capture c into d5. Now what is black's idea behind the b6 move is to develop his bishop on b7, and at some point black will take on c4, opening up the bishop. So we don't want this, and that's why we take on d5. And after into d5, now this structure, now the c6 is little bit weak. Okay, white plays knight c3, bishop b7, bishop f4, knight h5. Now black should play in the center with moves like c5 or knight e4. I don't believe moves like knight h5 and then taking on f4. This wastes so much of time. In chess, time is of utmost importance. So okay, knight h5, and here Nihal played the move rook a d1, which is quite fine. He could have also played the move e3 with the idea, if black captures on f4, to take back with e pawn. And if we see this position, white gets the open c and e file. With e5 is a nice square for our knight, and that's a very pleasant position for white to play. Okay, rook a d1, knight into f4 and g into f4. So this happened in the game, and black played rook e8. White of course took advantage of that e5 square, knight e5, black played knight f6. And here white consolidated his position with the move e3. Now this is a very nice structure for white. Everything is coordinated and supported. Now black plays the move c6. It is important move for black to defend the d5 pawn. This is a very important moment from the game, and I will suggest the viewers to pause the video and try to come up with a plan for white. At least try to find the three move plan for white. Okay, so here Nihal plays a very nice move, that is king h1, and the plan is to improve the f1 rook on the g file, and g file will be used for an attack. Okay, now this is not easy position to play. I mean mistakes can happen. It's easy to get wrong in this position. So of course black should also play with a plan. And the major mistake in the game from black side was he was playing some random single moves. So this approach doesn't work. So plan has to be met with the plan. So again I'll suggest the viewers to pause the video and try to find a good plan for black. Of course you need to first evaluate the position to find a plan. Okay, after king h1, black played the move bishop d6. But the correct move was to play rook c8, and if white continues with his plan rook g1, then to play rook c7, bishop f3 and bishop c8. So this was a plan for black. Now rook on c7 is excellently placed on the second rank, support the c6 and frees the bishop from b7. Now bishop was not doing anything on b7. On c8 it will help black to defend his king. Okay, but in the game black played the move of bishop d6. White continued with his plan bishop f3, and now he played the move of c5. Again, so these two moves, bishop d6 and c5, they don't fit in the same plan. So this is again random single moves. Again, black could have continued with the move like queen e7 and try to bring the rook on d8. But again, the drawback of this plan is the bishop on b7 will not be improved, as c6 will be hanging all the time. So the earlier plan was quite better. Okay, c5, and now the d5 remains weak. White plays rook g1 and queen e7. In this position, we will see some variations, like if white takes on d4, then practically it doesn't look good for black, as after queen into d4, d5 is an isolated pawn and white's pieces are excellently placed. So to continue with rook c8, rook g5, and white will just pile up on the g file, and the pressure is lot on the king side. There is also the move of g6, but here white can play knight g4. Now g6, I think black should play with the idea that after knight g4, knight into g4, bishop, rook into g4, c into d4, queen into d4, and bishop f8. So black will fianchetto the bishop on g7, and later after rook c8, black also has the idea to take on c3 to reduce the pressure from d5 pawn. In the game, black played queen e7. Again, this is a random single move, but as you can see, d5 is weak and two pieces are supporting the d5 pawn. So white plays the move knight g4 to take away the one defender of d5 pawn. So black has no option than to take on g4. White takes back on g4, rook a d8, and rook d g1. So it's important to first pile up on g file. g7 is hanging, so black has to play g6, then d5 can be taken. Bishop into d5, bishop into d5, knight into d5. Black plays queen e6, and here white plays rook g5 to defend the knight. So knight was hanging, and black made a mistake here. He took on d4. Now see, sometimes simple principles of chess can help. So taking into consideration some important principles, like never keep our king or queen under the fire of rook or in the same file. So black's move was to play just king f8, and the idea is to play f5 and cut down the support of knight on d5. So this was the better move, and black can hold this position. For example, now f5 is a threat from black side, so white has to go back with knight c3, f5, d5, and bishop e7. So the d5 pawn is pinned, he cannot take on e6 as queen is hanging, and after the setup bishop f6 and queen e7, black can really hold this position. But in the game, black first took on d4, and white doesn't have to recapture back, and he played the move e4. Now e4 is tactically defended, as queen into e4 is met by queen into e4, rook into e4, knight f6 check, and we win the rook on e4. So in the game, black played the move f5. Directly we cannot take on f5, so first we played f3 defending the e4 pawn, and under time pressure black made a mistake here and he played rook f8. He should have continued with f into e4, but still after f into e4 the attack is very serious and it's difficult to defend this position. f5 is coming. In the game, black played rook f8, and this allowed e into f5, and now queen into d5 can be answered with the move f into g6, and now there are dual threats. Queen on d5 is hanging and g into h7 is a big threat. So to continue with, here black resigned. To continue with, if black plays moves like queen e6, then we can play g into h7 check, king h8, and queen into d4 check. Now bishop e5, we can just take queen into e5, and if not rook f6, then we have rook g8, and this is game over for black. So I hope you like this video. This was a great game from Indian Grandmaster Nihal Sarin. With this, Team India won against Team Switzerland in round 3 of Chess Olympiad. Thanks for watching.